So these are different moments. And I remember I was 24, 25 years old. We went to an Assyrian Christmas party. It's December 24th Eve. We're there, family I love, but we're at this party. And my dad is there. I'm a nobody at this time, 24 years old. I'm in debt $49,000. Just got out of an ugly relationship. Girl I'm going to marry didn't work out. I lost my expedition. I'm driving a Ford Focus right now. I barely fit in this Ford Focus. I was big in the Hollywood scene, big in the Vegas scene. I used to go to Pimps and Hoes. I used to go to Garden of Eden, Century Club, Dublin's. I'm that guy. You want to party with me? You want to go out with me? And have boom, rock bottom. No one wants to party with me. I don't have money for no. Ladies' night, I got nothing going on for myself right now financially. So we go out, and my dad's having heart attacks. And this one guy at this Christmas party disrespects my dad and makes a condescending comment that, by the way, it was so innocent, it's not even funny. It was so innocent, what he says to my dad. But you said it in front of me. And I took it as, I've given you permission to talk to my dad in front of me that way, and that's my fault. I said, no problem.
May I ask what he said?
I don't want to say it because he's going to know who he is. I've never disclosed it. He knows who this is.
If we beep it, so I could just be...
I'll tell you privately when the camera's off. So anyway, so this guy says what he says. And then, I look at him and I'm just fuming. I'm on fire inside. And I'm holding myself. I said, Pop, Dad, we got to go. He says, Mumarit. I said, I'm not staying here. We got to go. No, you're here with me. I'm your dad. I said, no, I'm the driver. We're going home. And let me tell you, I'm not coming. We got to go. We're not staying here. So we're getting into, you know how you're uncomfortable. You don't want people to know you're arguing. I said, I'm telling you, we're leaving. I'm telling you right now, we're leaving. We get in the car. Most uncomfortable walk, telling me, who do you think you are? You're in front of my family. Why are you doing this kind of stuff? I said, no one is going to disrespect you ever again. I said, I'm going to make a promise to you right now. The world is going to know your last name and how incredible of a father you've been to me. They're going to have to kill me. They're going to know who you are. Done. We're in the car for 30 minutes from Glendale to Granada Hills. We're fighting. 30 minutes. I call Paulette, my sister. She comes to the house. And I call Siomak, her husband, saint of a guy, love the guy. They got 2 beautiful kids. They're not living here. They moved here from LA. And I sit him down and say, guys, I don't know what's going to happen. The world's going to know our last name. And by the way, at this point of the game, I'm a regular guy. The next day, I'm going 100 hours a week. It's game over. Call my buddies. My dad had also gone out of the hospital a couple months prior to that, UCLA Medical Center with a big heart attack. Don't call me to go to the clubs. I'm not going to the clubs. Don't call me to do anything. I call my girlfriend at the time and I say, hey, I'm not interested in anything. You coming in a birthday suit? Not interested. I don't believe you. She comes in. Not interested. I go 17 months with no sex. That was my biggest addiction. That was my God. My God was women. My God was nightlife. My God was that. That's my audience. That's my crew. I was from that side. And I put my head down January 21st, 2004, I want to say. I give my life to Christ. I go to church sitting front row. 17 months done, focused. Friday nights, Bible study, 6 o'clock to 2 o'clock in the morning, every other Friday night at Pasadena with Paznas, this pastor called Mano, and we're talking about philosophy. And I'm still an atheist, but I'm debating him. There's no way in the world if Jesus this, and what about this? And they use it because people were so naive and innocent back in the days, and they didn't know what it was. It was so easy to use fear again, control them, and they were doing this. And you know what they were doing? Today, you can't get away with that. This is why there's so many more atheists today, because they're being exposed. I'm having these types of conversations with them.
Can I pause you right there?
Course.
Because there's a lot of men that are in the same boat that you were there. And this is a huge pivotal moment for you, because I believe this. You either worship a God or you worship yourself. And I think that at that moment in your life, I want to know, what was it completely that opened your eyes? Because there's people that will, you could give them all the evidence in the world, but they'll reject it because they want to worship their lifestyle of sex, their lifestyle of drinking, their lifestyle of this. What was your pivotal moment? And what would you give to your enemies and your friends to just give them that information? Because I think, and this is just from my point of view, I think that's when you started really just taking off.
So I'll give you a complete curveball here. What percentage of her past do you know?
A lot of it. I would say almost all of it.
Do you think you know 100% of it?
I would believe I do, on the aspect of, in this relationship, the one who runs it is the Lord. So I can never judge her for her past. I can never judge her for her future.
Okay. What percentage of your past you think she knows?
Every single bit of it.
Okay, fine. I'm convinced if you think you know all of it, you have a God complex yourself. Let me explain.
No,
you
fair.
can push back and I'll give you my point of view. So when you're marrying somebody, you know, a man wants to know what? Everything. Why? We're insecure, we're protective, we're territorial. We have this natural, like, hey, you're mine. Like, hey, I want to make sure.
Know.
I need to know, like, what happened with that guy and how many this.
I don't want to
and how
walk
many
into
that.
a place and be embarrassed.
Totally get it.
Yeah.
And then later on in my life, what if stories come up and then I'm going to be embarrassed and da-da.
Yep.
These are all valid concerns that a territorial man will have. Totally innocent that we have. Okay. You can go back and forth with that in your mind, saying, I'm not getting married until I know 100% of the stuff. You ain't never going to get married. You're just never going to get married. So what's the moral of the story there? Okay, I'm the guy that has to know everything. Well, now I got a problem because it's not going to happen to me. I'm the mathematician. I'm the freaking math guy. I'm the angle guy. I'm the counting every light in a place. I'm the guy that's counting how many Celsius, I'm the guy that's counting how many lines goes all the way down, having a conversation with you. I'm counting those little buttons in here in that corner to see how many the buttons. Is it 9 or is it 12? I'm just kind of go, I'm that guy, right? So everything with my brain, the reason why I love math is because I can use Pythagorean theorem to get an answer to a formula that's the definite answer, not the maybe answer, not the 99% answer. So I have a problem with faith for a guy like me because I'm not gonna know 100%.
So it was a nurture thing. Weren't taught faith when you were younger.
No, I was taught faith when I was younger, but I was the guy that got kicked out of Bible study in a Syrian church in Iran and Tehran, where they kicked me out. They're like, you know, you're asking too many questions. This is not what we're going to have. You got to get out of the class. And they kicked me out. I said, I'm not a Christian, guys. Told my mom and dad they were disappointed. I said, listen, I'm not going to go believe in this God that if he loves us so much, why are we getting bombed so many times? Why we get bombed 160 sometimes in a single day? Yeah, I'm not good with this. I don't believe God exists. All these people are dying for what? Over what? What are we dying over? So I was that guy that fought back. So anyways, going back to the question you're asking with faith and how the decision was made, no matter how much I read of Lee Strobel, Case for Christ, if I read C.S. Lewis, you know, Mere Christianity, Cost of Discipleship, give me every book I could get my hands on from Billy Graham as to 4 different, God is either this, or he's that, or he's this, or I'm going to go read this guy and read the Scientology argument of Christianity, and I'm going to see the debate of this Muslim of Christianity on why this, and this guy that before Christianity on the Indian religion that did the same exact thing was married. I can go all of that stuff. And even if I do my entire lifetime, I'm not going to read all that material. So eventually there's going to come a point in your life that you're going to have to take certain risks in your life. There is risk to staying single, big risk. If I tell you right now, I'm looking at Dylan, my 9-year-old son, and he says, Dad, you know, what would happen if the war doesn't happen in Iran and Iran was at peace? I said, brother, I got to tell you this, Dilly boy, in a weirdest way, I'm glad it happened. Why, Daddy? Because I can't imagine life never meeting you. You've changed my life, Dilly. I said, I can't imagine life not meeting you. Our 4th kid, Brooklyn, she's 2 years old. She's went to school for the first time this week. We didn't want to have a 4th kid. We were good with 3. One day my wife comes home, says, crying. I'm like, what are you crying for? She says, I want another baby. I said, what are you talking about? I want 20 more babies. What are you talking about? I want another baby. We get pregnant. She gets pregnant. While she's pregnant, we're in Jekyll Island. We're testing. We're going 1 o'clock in the morning to the gas station, testing all this stuff. We're coming back, and she's pregnant. We go to the doctor. You're having twins. No way. Yes. We're expecting twins. Then we go back in the 11th week. One of the kids doesn't make it. And one of the kids before that told us that one of them is Down syndrome. So guess what? We don't know which one didn't make it. So now we have to have a baby, and we're watching videos late at night, raising kids, Down syndrome baby in a family, how the kids react. And for 30 days in bed, we're laying next to each other. It's almost, you're running a company. You have to still be there present for your kids. You have to motivate your guys. You have to run your thing. You have to do this. You have to do that. And you're sitting there saying, babe, man, this is a curveball, man. Baby's born.
Tough.
We have no idea what's going to happen with the baby, okay? Coming from a guy that has to know 100% because I'm a guy that takes calculated risks. Here's what I learned. When it comes down to marriage, everything's about odds. You don't know what's going to happen. You could change, she could change. As long as you have your faith in God and you do your part, your best, and she does her part, you guys go 1 year at a time, you're increasing the odds. But it's still not going to be 100%.
Yeah, of course.
Kids, same way. You're going to have kids, the fear of kids. You got miscarriage, you got this, you got that, you got this. There is risk. What if you only have daughters? 4 kids, it's all daughters. What are you going to say? I want a son. What if you only have boys? You never have a daughter. It's God's plan for you. There's certain things in life.
It's out of your hands.
It's out of your hands. So faith, marriage, kids, these areas, I don't want to control. As a control guy, I don't want to control those specific areas. So the person you're talking about that's 23, 24, 25, there is a risk to staying single, and it's a massive risk. There's a risk to getting married. I'm willing to say with all the BS people keep talking about that there's risks to be married, there's more risk staying single than there is to get married.
Of course.
Yeah.
There is more risk. You have the risk of being an atheist, not believing in God. Don't worry about it. It is a risk. It is a greater risk to be an atheist than to believe in God. Why? I'm talking to Joe on the podcast a couple weeks ago, and this conversation came up, right, about faith and all this stuff. And Joe has his own philosophies, and when he has all these different people, there's a reason why he's loved, because he'll talk to everybody about it. I said, look, right now with what's going on, you know who the establishment, people of power hate historically? Guess who they've hated? People who are hopeful, people who are faithful, people who have the faith to believe the future looks bright. You can't control those types of people. It's a very weird dynamic. Their eyes are different. There's fire in those eyes. You know what the eyes look like when somebody is hopeless or doesn't have, it's like so faithless? You know what their eyes look like? Defeated.
Yeah,
bitter.
broken.
You can control them.
Yeah.
You can push them around. You can bully them. Good luck bullying
Somebody who has faith.
somebody who has faith or is hopeful. So to me, the 24, 25 years old, when circling back to the whole choose your enemies wisely, when I saw that opportunity, when I saw what it did to my belly, and I noticed that fire didn't go away, because a lot of times you'll get a motivational speech from a conference, you're motivated for 3 days, and in 3 days you're like, dude, I forgot, life sucks. And then, but this one, this enemy, brother, I'm 44, that was 23, 21 years ago. The level of fire I have today is 10 times more than it was then, and I was a lot. So that is the ability to choose your enemies wisely. Of course, that's the title of the book, but a part of the book is also you got to choose your allies wisely. You need the right enemies, but you need the right allies. My allies I need is the man upstairs. That's the ultimate ally I need.
Amen.
I got a few other allies that I need to have, but a person with the right enemy, sometimes we'll disclose it to people, sometimes we will not. Sometimes it's somebody that only you know about, but you don't want to advertise it. And you'll all of a sudden see someone and say, man, that guy already has all the money in the world. That guy already drives a nice car. Why is a guy that's worth $300 billion named Elon Musk, what are you doing? You can buy you can buy a state. You can buy a small country. You can buy Belize and name it Muskland. You can go do whatever. What are you doing? How many more billion-dollar companies do you need to build? Do you need to go to space? What's the point? And then you kind of pull back and you're like, oh, okay, that's his dad? Got it. I got it. And that's his mom? Totally get it. We know who the enemy is. Great. He may not talk about it, but that's a drive. And by the way, we can say this about a lot of names at the top. They chose their enemies wisely, and you just hope it's not the wrong enemy that eventually destroys you.